Hi everyone and welcome to Homerino Collectibles, where today I am going to be doing a review of the Transformers 4 Age of Extinction Evolution 2-pack Bumblebee. Now, this thing over in America is a Toys R Us exclusive. It doesn't say that on this box. This is obviously the European box. However, at the moment it can only be found in Toys R Us, so it possibly may be an exclusive everywhere. So this set is actually the same price as the Crosshairs and the other deluxe Dinobots, so I really wanted to get this. I didn't want to wait and see if they were going to just release Bumblebee on his own. I don't have any Legends figures apart from the one that came with Metroplex, so I really did want this Bumblebee because deluxe class Bumblebees, I have the Reveal the Shield one, which is an absolutely fantastic figure. I love that thing, but it's like, you know, he suits his size for Voyager figures, whereas I think that this Legends class Bumblebee looks awesome next to deluxe class figures as a smaller bot. I grew up with Armada, so I absolutely love Legends figures like this. You know, they just remind me so much of Minicons and whatnot, and I really wanted this set just because it's the same price as like Crosshairs and whatnot. So, you know, for no extra cost, you're basically getting a free Legends class figure, which is actually a really good figure. So, first up, look at the box. You can actually see the contrast between the two colours of Bumblebee already. Now, from looking at the box art, you can see that the Legends class Bumblebee is actually more colour accurate to the picture of this Bumblebee. However, you can actually see that the colours between these two are actually quite similar. We'll see more of that when we get him out of package, but it does look very nice. I love the kind of G1-esque section up here. And then on the side here we have Transformers logo with the nice G1 looking Bumblebee there. It doesn't actually say that it's part of the 330 as in, like, you know, its particular number. I'm not too sure if it is part of the 330 or if that's just the logo on there sort of commemorating it. But on the back here we get pictures of them both in robot and vehicle mode. And then we have, I mean, you know, it's the European stuff, so we get different languages and stuff, but that just says 10 steps and that says 18 steps, so let's get it open and take a look. And here they both are out of the box, and it is a really nice set, and here you can clearly see the difference in colours here. So this is a much more Generation 1, very bright Bumblebee kind of look. This is actually a little bit more orangey than you'd expect from a modern day, you know, Camaro Bumblebee sort of colour. It's very orangey. Now, I like orange, that's perfectly fine, and when I've watched other people's reviews of this, when they've said it's kind of orangey, on the camera it actually looks a bit more yellow. And I can definitely see that with mine, but it's not as much as theirs, so you are actually seeing a much more orange than I've seen in other people's reviews. But it doesn't look bad by any stretch of the imagination. It looks really awesome, but it should definitely be a little bit of a brighter yellow, but that's not much to complain about. So we're just going to go into close-up details of both of these and size comparisons and everything, and then what I'm going to do is, because a lot of people I can expect that are watching this review are watching it because they want to see this guy as well, otherwise they'd just be watching a review for just this guy. So basically I'm just going to show the transformation and the robot mode real quick of this one before I do this. It's only going to take an extra minute or so, so it's not going to be too long. But first of all, yeah, let's take a close-up look at him. So the grille is very nice, and then we've got the headlights. This is actually not a new mold, they've just repainted it so that there's like all the little lines and whatnot aren't actually done in red detail, so that there's just the blue, the black, the silver, and then this red Autobot logo. It's very nice. Absolutely fantastic little car. It comes with this sort of mech tech kind of weapon where you pull back on this and then the front flips forward. It's okay, you can put it on the top of the car in vehicle mode, and it's just an extra nice little weapon for him, but we'll just put that to one side and then we'll just focus on this Bumblebee for a second. So close-up detail for this guy, absolutely awesome. I really do like these headlights and the grille and everything. Very nice. It's kind of like a blue silver kind of paint there, very cool. And if we just bring this guy over, here you can see the difference to the classic modified Camaro. next to the new one. I think this is supposed to be the 2015 concept Camaro or something like that. And then we switch to the side. So this has a kind of outline of an Autobot logo, but it's not like actually got all the proper molded in detail. But you can tell what it's supposed to be, whereas this one has the big Autobot logo on it there. And then if we switch to, and also this doesn't have painted alloys there, whereas this one did. So it would be nice to have those painted, but it doesn't matter too much. Both of them don't have paint on the back. It would have been nice because we've got some exhaust that they could have painted. They've got big sections for the lights there. We've actually got a rear license plate on here, which would have been nice to have been painted. And so yeah, you're still getting the clear windows. They have a slight blue tint to them, whereas these ones were clear. And if we just look at a size comparison real quick between the two, as you can see, they are exactly the same size, although the new one is, I'd say, just a tad bit wider. So if we look underneath, both heads are visible. We still have, head, arms and legs sort of layout, but it is a very different transformation for a Bumblebee figure, and it is actually very interesting, just like this one was. So if we just take a quick look next to the others, so we have Optimus from the movie right here, and then we have Crosshairs right here. I think it looks very, very good. Now, I'm not going to be getting drift because, personally, I don't like the Bugatti Veyron, and also it's black with a bit of blue, whereas the figure is like blue with blue. I just don't really like that figure at all, and I don't really think I'm going to be getting the helicopter one either, just because of money. I'd rather spend my money on other stuff. But I definitely want Hound, and I want Lockdown, but just for the vehicle mode, really. But yeah, these three look absolutely fantastic together. So like I said, we're going to be looking at the transformation for this guy before the bigger one. So basically what you want to do is separate the arms. Now they're connected in at the front all around here, and then they're connected in with little tabs onto the side here. So you just give them a nice little tug, and they'll just come free a little bit like this. And at this point you can rotate them down if you wish. And then what we're going to do is, up here you just separate the front of the car from the top, and then the whole thing will rotate forward like so, and then you just take the back and take that down. There's a little peg here which will go into the back there, and that will bring the head up into position. And then straightening things out, we can separate the legs, fold down the feet, and then these arms here, we bring this section in and then bring it around. Again, bring that section in, take that around, and that is pretty much it. There we have the Legends class Bumblebee fully transformed. So as you can see, the weapon is quite large for Bumblebee. I mean, with Transformers, a lot of the time in the comics too, obviously this doesn't look too bad with the weapon being that big. However, obviously with him being so small, you do have to kind of lean him back a little bit if you want to get him to stand upright whilst using it. And I like to have him like this, so it looks like he's holding it with two arms. I think that looks pretty cool. But taking that out of the way, you can actually store this on his back if you wish. But let's just take a quick look at the articulation. So the head does not rotate, unfortunately, and there's no waist movement, but it's all in the arms and the legs. So due to transformation, the arms go up and down a little bit. They rotate at the shoulder, and then you also get a swivel here at the top of the shoulder too, and then you also get a kind of swivel if you want to hold the shoulders still. So for certain poses, you can have him like this with the shoulder pads, or you can have the shoulder pads down like that. It depends on your personal preference, I guess. But then you have a ball joint at the elbow, meaning you can rotate, and you can also take it up and down. There's not much movement at the wrist unless you want to like bring it in like that, but that kind of looks a bit strange separating the arms. Ball joints at the hips, so pretty much just Universal Legends articulation there, going in and out and rotating a little bit. And then he has a knee joint which only moves a little bit like that, so you can't get like really great crouching stuff. However, you can move the feet very well. The feet go all the way for there, so you can get some pretty nice articulation out of the feet there. Very nice Legends figure, I've got to say, for articulation and just general design. I mean, I think overall this guy looks very, very nice. And if I'm just get G1 Optimus out here, just bring it up so that he's actually in the shot. As you can see, I think this looks really, really good. So for G1 style figures, I think that this Bumblebee is absolutely fantastic, and it's the main reason why I really wanted this set. And now moving on to the movie version. So first up, his weapons are stored underneath, and they kind of help to hold the legs together back here. I mean, they're not essential, but there's a couple of pegs here and a couple of pegs here, and as you can see, there's those pegs either side of the main one that you can see sticking out there, and they're basically just kind of like shurikens. I expect that they would form from like the wheels or something like that. But I mean, they look pretty good. I'm not a fan of having him hold them or having them to do with him whatsoever. I don't really like these too much. But yeah, I mean, having them in there just helps give you a more secure vehicle mode, but that's pretty much all I use them for. They're not really essential for it. The only thing that I don't like about this vehicle mode, really, well, I guess there's two things. Number one, the main thing is that it's not always held together so securely. It's not like Crosshairs in the way that you have to keep fiddling with it. It's just literally, you know, the gaps are there and you just kind of have to deal with it because they're just very prominent where they are. But also, you have some molded sections like this, and then you have some painted sections like this and this. I mean, on camera it doesn't look as bad as in real life, but I mean, it still doesn't look bad in real life. But it's just like all the other movie figures, you know, some aspects of them are paint over translucent parts, and it's just something, again, that you just have to deal with. It's not too bad, except for this bit right here, we just have a bit of paint smearing there. But overall, I do think that it is a very good looking vehicle mode overall. So we're going to move on to transformation, and firstly what we want to do is just untab the arms. So they're tabbed in up here and back here and just everywhere. Basically, the arms are on the side, you want to just unplug them. So next thing we're going to do, they're hooked in at the front to the grill, and you kind of have to pull them down and hook them down. When you're doing it in robot mode to vehicle mode, it's okay, but when you're transforming it back like this, because they're tabbed in on the side here, it can be a little tricky sometimes, and it can feel like you're going to break it a little bit, but you just keep on wiggling it and they'll come out and it'll be perfectly fine. So here you can see the problem. Basically, these bits are just quite large, and you're trying to untab the side here and a bit that clips underneath, and you're just trying to pull it out because it's got to come out and down like that. So it can be a little tricky, but it's not too bad. So at this point what we're going to do is just rotate these shoulder bits sideways like so, just so that they're out of the way, so that we can bring this chest piece here forward, and then we're going to rotate the grill down and in like so, and then that just keeps the chest plate out a little bit, and it hides the grill, so I think that's very nice. And now we're going to come to the back. So all we have to do here is just pull the legs down a little bit right here, and then this unhooks from the top, and then you can bring this whole section up on this hinge, just hold the top and just pull it all the way up until it lies flat, and then just push this bit down, and that's the backpack collapsed. And then with the legs, what we're going to do, they're not actually pegged together. That's why the shuriken things can help a little bit to keep it nice and secure, but they're not really, you know, needed. It's just a nice little added extra. So what we're going to do first is we're going to just take these back sections and rotate those so that they cover the wheels, and then these parts here just flip down, they become the feet, and then you can just flip the spoiler part down. Do that again. Well, sorry, not the spoiler part, they're just the sides of the back, but yeah, there we go. So now, what we do is these just flip in, and then you rotate. They can only rotate one way, so they rotate this way. And then that is the legs complete. And then what we want to do is these bits slide forwards, like so, which enables for the arm articulation and whatnot, and then fold in these window bits, and then that is the fully transformed Bumblebee. And we're just going to start things off straight away with the size comparison. So here you can see him next to the High Octane Bumblebee figure. So at the head they're about the same, and then the top of these windows here meet the kind of top of the front of the car up here, so it's pretty much the same height for both of them. However, even though this guy I feel is a lot slimmer in comparison to previous Bumblebees that we have, just in the general look of the figure, just like the whole design and everything, and the way that he just looks very sleek and just standing there just looks ready for action kind of thing. I think that this guy also looks like that, but obviously with the chest and the waist and everything just being so sleek, it really does have a very slim sort of look. If you turn them to the back, however, this guy, you can see, you know, he's got the wheels on the back of his legs here, he's got the doors on the back of his arms here, he has the entire roof of the car on the back here, whereas if you turn this guy around, obviously his arms and legs still look pretty much like arms and legs, and he's just got the kind of back there. But, you know, I think that silhouette wise, I think this guy looks much better. I think this guy looks kind of strange from the back, and then side looks pretty alright, really. I really like these shoulders. Most pictures of this guy has him with, you know, the shoulders mistransformed, so they're still up like this. I think that this does look good. I really do. I think that looks really good, but he is supposed to be out like this, and then it just covers up the wheels a bit more and whatnot, but I think it does look good like that. So as a comparison between the two, as you can see, I think this is, you know, even a tiny little bit darker than the moulded in plastic on the High Octane Bumblebee, but only like a slight little bit. But it is obviously much darker than this kind of a colour, and there's the size comparison. So now let's just cover Articulation real quick and bring him in close. So the head, left, right, up, down. It's on a ball joint, but it moves very, very well up and down, very good. It does have light piping, and it also has an action feature. So the light piping doesn't work too well because he's got this covering the back, so it's quite dark back there. The action feature is his kind of helmet, his mask, and basically this section here, you can see it does actually have an Autobot logo there. We'll see how close we can get that to focus. There is an actual Autobot logo there. It's not like just molded in, it's not just a little blob, it's actually a super tiny Autobot logo. And to show you how super tiny it is, this one's a small Autobot logo, you know, that is tiny. So basically that whole front section there flips down. You could see it kind of go down there. As you can see, it reveals a little bit of silver. That's the amount that it moves. It literally moves the amount of the Autobot logo. That comes down and covers the eyes and gives him his battle ready look, and then you just flip that back up. See, it's just that tiny little bit of movement. And also, if we just compare the heads between the two, here's that one, the nice silver, and then here's this one, much darker colour, much kind of rounder, kind of fatter head design. I think that this is the best ever Bumblebee head design, and that's not just for the figures. I think just from the movies in general, I think that this film gives us the best Bumblebee look for the head. So then, moving on, the shoulders, they have a rotation, they have a little bit of up and down there, and then they have the full up and down right here, and then because you can turn, it's like a swivel thing, so you can turn that and then you can get that forward and back there, so pretty good. It acts like a ball joint, but it's not actually a ball joint. That's the best way to describe that. And then we have a up and down movement at the arm here. It is actually kind of ratcheted, and they also swivel as well. And then we get nothing at the wrists except this one. You can actually rotate this around and reveal his arm cannon, which is painted in a nice gunmetal. Just get a nice close-up on that. Yes, you can kind of see the hand in there, but it's not that bad. Like, if you look at that, it just looks like arm detail. It doesn't look like there's just a hand, but it looks very good. And the only difference that you can see is just that that one's just like that, that one's like that, but from the outside, this looks clean. This one just has that kind of little bit there, but in vehicle mode you don't really notice that, so I'm going to flip that back out because it looks cool. But that's something that all Bumblebee figures from the movie should have, and only some have had in the past. We get this very new, nice, sleek design right here, which I really do love. Very, very nice. and then again, no waste, but it doesn't really matter too much. We get the same kind of similar like piston things coming down here like we saw here, but they're molded in yellow over there. And then the legs, they go out all the way, they are ratcheted, and they also go forward and back. He has a nice knee joint there, and then the foot goes back at that joint, and then it also goes up and down, right down at the foot. So very good articulation, basically exactly the same as the other Bumblebee there, if not a little bit more in the shoulders. You have a bit more of choice for how you want him transformed, like using this to make him a bit slimmer and whatnot, which I think that actually does look a little bit better. But for the most part, I think that because it's such a radical new design for him, whereas this one has a lot of reminiscence from older Bumblebee designs, I think that this one does deserve more credit than this, because they have put more into this, designing a completely new figure. Plus, the weapon, I'm pretty sure that most people would have preferred this to something like this, but obviously they can't get that inside that arm. However, I do like the fact that there's more kind of gunmetal paint in here, whereas they haven't really put that on the hand. I would have liked the hands to be painted gunmetal or something. Just a bit more design in these arms instead of just having plain yellow plastic right there. I like that down here we have grey plastic instead of black, and they're a bit more thicker at the bottom there, so they don't have this tiny little spindly ankle, they have a bit of a thicker ankle. And then they have more of a heel too, if you can see that. It actually sticks out a bit further, so it accommodates for the backpack a little bit more, so he's even more stable than this guy. One down point to this is that these bits, whilst they do look very nice over here in the leg, filling up the back, they don't actually tab in, they just kind of rest there, so if you were to play with this, you'd be knocking that all the time, and these things, they just kind of rest there as well, so you'd knock them and move them. They are stable, they won't move if you shake it or anything like that, but if you keep on moving it around at the legs, you will keep on moving those things back there. But apart from that, there's not really anything bad to say about this figure, and for the fact that you can get this guy for the same price as the high octane Bumblebee, but also get basically a free, really good Legends class figure, I can't really complain about that. So thanks for watching, guys. I 100% definitely recommend this figure, and personally I like them both in both modes, but I think that for a movie display, it's very nice to finally have a slightly different kind of design for Bumblebee. You have more display options with the gun and the face mask, and I think it's just a really awesome figure. So this one definitely I'll display in vehicle mode, because I love that classic sort of look. But yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. So thanks for watching. If you want to check out pictures of my collection, go ahead and follow me on Instagram and Twitter. It's Homerino123. And also subscribe to see more Transformers reviews, and I'll see you next time, guys.